energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome into Pro Football Today, the pre-game party here on SportsGrid TV. And I say happy Thursday. I welcome you in with that excitement because we have a fantastic Thursday game on the slate tonight. We've got the Bills charging down into Miami to take on the Dolphins. And look, we all know that the Bills typically have the upper hand in this matchup. A lot of people say not to get too quick to celebrate them to pull off another victory. Dolphins should have a better roster at hand. Bills pulled off a pretty big win in the second half of their matchup versus the Cardinals last week. So a lot to get into, but you know that this party is not just a party of one. No, this is a party of 4. Kasey Hudson hanging out with Dave Sharapan, Adam Kaufman, and Tom Vecchio, and we got to get the guys in here to get their opinions, their initial takes, their vibes of the game, of course, best bets, angles, and lines. We've got to see what laid out in the beginning of this matchup, how things may have changed heading into this matchup, and where you should be smart and where your play should go before kickoff officially goes underway. Something else to keep in mind is that we've got a bit of a banged up running back room for the Miami Dolphins, so of course we'll get into all of that, but there we go. There's my gentleman to join the party. As I mentioned, initial thoughts, because this is a fun game, a big game, especially when it comes to the AFC. Dave, you're our sportsbook king. First, let us know how you are and your initial thoughts on the matchup.
First of all, great to see all of you. Great job, Kasey, getting this party started. Thursday night, we get week 2, we get a division matchup. Doesn't usually happen that way, so we get a really good game. Now you get the line, and you go, okay, why? What are we doing here? Sportsbooks sitting and waiting all day, all week before going to 3. Sitting at 2.5, they're starting to adjust the juice, making it minus 115, minus 120, because they know sitting on the other side of that 3 is a bunch of bad guys that, come in with Brinks trucks full of money to bet the Buffalo Bills. That's going to be the book side tonight. The Dolphins will be, the people side tonight. Doesn't always mean one side's right, one side's wrong. We got to watch the game play out. And the boys brought a whole menu full of props and different things and ideas. I know that.
Oh, and plus we got some great breakdowns from game time decisions between Kevin and Donnie. Donnie making a case to whether you bet the home team or not. So, of course, I've got to get each one of y'all's opinion on stuff like that. But, I mean, business tonight, gentlemen. I dressed up like a Peaky Blinder because we are going to get down to the brass tacks of things, which means, Adam, give us something. What's your initial thoughts on this matchup?
All right, well, listen, this isn't just a pregame party, everybody. This is a Thirsty Thursday because I am just drinking in all the plays, all the bets. I can't even begin to tell you how many different ways that I am invested in this game. And I thought Donnie on the show just before us, I had never heard it put this way, but I thought it was put great. You know, a lot of people, Tom who's going to talk after me, a lot of people like to have very structured, very correlated, maybe a reduced number of bets that they are invested in. So they're rooting for one outcome versus somebody like me who bets more in volume. What Donnie said is, I'm not looking to hit all my bets. I'm not looking to be right about everything. I'm just looking to have more money in my account at the end of the night than what I started with. And that is exactly how I feel. It totally completely sums up my betting philosophy. And as far as this game, guys, I have questions. I mean, on the one hand, I know Sharapan is fully decked out in his Bills gear. He must have been looking at the numbers like Josh Allen is 10-2 in his career against Miami and 6-1 head-to-head against Tua, and he's 6-0 on Thursday Night Football. Why even play the freaking game? Obviously, the Bills are going to win this thing. That's what Dave is telling us. I'm not so sure. I think there are a lot of arguments to be made for the Miami side. And what I want to is why this total has been dropping. I bet the under when it was 50.5 much earlier in the week. We are now seeing 48.5. It has steadily been coming down throughout the week. And there are no more weather concerns in this one. It's going to be a beautiful night in South Florida. So I don't get it. There are a lot of people that are expecting points. I may swing the other way and invest in the over.
It might be a beautiful night on this Thursday for the Dolphins, but a lot of the conversation is whether or not the Bills can handle the humidity. And I saw this really interesting breakdown on the dew point, which I've never even thought about looking at dew point, but this is all going to be impactful to the snowbirds that are now hanging out down in South Florida, sweaty South Florida on Thirsty Thursday. But Tom, we got to get your opinion on all of this action between the Bills and the Dolphins. Obvious takes, non-obvious takes. Hit us with what you've got going.
Yeah, I'm starting off with this game being a little bit slow at the beginning. I think that's what we should be seeing. Two division rivals, playing things a bit tight. It is the beginning of the season, as we saw both of these offenses last week. Start a little bit slow, but after we get to the middle of the second quarter or so, especially in the second half, I think that's when things will turn up. I'm also looking for what we get from the Bills passing offense specifically, obviously with Steph Diggs and Gabe Davis no longer there. There's like this gap in usage that needs to be figured out. And they drafted Keon Coleman. We know that. Dalton Kincaid didn't do a whole lot last week. Khalil Shakir, I think, is an interesting option. And James Cook, we need to figure that out because we're seeing Josh Allen's passing prop at 244.5, which is one of the lowest I remember ever seeing it. So where do the Bills go on offense without these two major pieces? And then ultimately, what is the health of the Dolphins' backfield? We know that HN is playing tonight, but are we going to see Jeff Wilson involved? Are we going to see the rookie Jalen Wright involved? Because obviously the running back props and touchdowns obviously was super interesting on Monday with CMC. Obviously those lines have been accounted for. So there's a few questions I have when it comes to player usage, and I think the production will start to shine in the second half specifically.
Okay, so I like that you mentioned that you're vibing with another slow start here. Adam, I'm going to throw it back to you because I do have a question in terms of taking what Tom said into account, and then let's throw some drama on it because it's a pregame party, and it's not a party without some drama. You got Jordan Poyer, who was one of the key guys when healthy for the Bills. Some people think that that's an angle that the Miami Dolphins can run with in terms of their defense being able to manage or at least make it a bit of a sweatier day for Josh Allen down in South Florida. So when you're looking at first half stuff, the spread is sitting at 1.5. Is there anything attractive in the first half, particularly if this is a slow start game, or do you think the opposite? Do you think that both of these teams that always come to compete, rack up on the numbers for the most part, could have a bit of a faster start because of the familiarity and the competition?
Well, look, I already said I'm invested in the under in the game, so I guess I'd be talking out of both sides of my mouth if I sit here and say, yeah, I think it's going to be a flaming hot start and everybody's going to be off to the races and it's going to be a track meet in prime time and all of that stuff. I do think there's going to be, as Tom alluded to, an element of feeling out. These two teams, they certainly do know each other, but as Tom said, these are two teams that both started very slow in week one. They both had to overcome 2 touchdown deficits against trash performances out of Arizona and Jacksonville in blowing those games. So these two teams obviously come in 1-0, but Josh Allen, as good as the numbers are in his career, especially of late against Buffalo, and I don't for the life of me, like Tom mentioned, 244, 245 for Allen. I'm looking at as low as 234 and a half on Josh Allen's passing yards. I don't understand why that number has been plummeting throughout the week when the weather forecast has been getting better. Allen, in his last handful of meetings against the Bills, never mind 250 plus, he's been over 300 passing yards. He has eviscerated that defense. And so I do think the points are going to come from the Bills in this one. I think Allen is going to be throwing the ball all over the field. I understand there's a little bit of a worry that there's no Diggs and there's no Gabe Davis, but he was locked in on Keon Coleman in that first week. You know, yes, Allen only threw the ball, I think, 23 times, but by the same token, a quarter of those passes, a quarter of that target share went to the rookie Coleman. So he is the clear number one in Allen's eyes right now. As far as who's going to slow him down, we'll see. I think there are questions in the secondary on both of these teams.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. I think that I was kind of hoping that Dave was going to come in here and be like, everybody's on the Bills. Sportsbooks should just shy away from X, Y, and Z. But we know not to look away from whatever kit, whatever suit up Dave Sharapan shows up to the pregame party in. So we still have a lot more to get into. We're going to dive a little deeper into first half stuff because, as you guys know, we got to lay the lines and the perspective, angles, and best bets here on SportsGrid TV. And I feel like I have a runaway when it comes to a player prop bet to be smart about, and it's going to be in the tutty category. So stick with us after this quick break.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Welcome back into Pro Football Today pregame party with myself, Kasey Hudson, Dave Sharapan, Tom Vecchio, and Adam Kaufman. We were just getting into our initial thoughts of this big matchup down in South Florida, but of course, we do have to get into, well, where are you going to put your money? We're starting to chat about the first half. Adam did mention that he was in on the under initially, so he wasn't going to go against himself when it came to the first half conversation, but Tom also mentioned foreseeing a slow start tonight. There's other things we got to get into, though, gentlemen. I'm going to throw it back to you, Dave. We've got a total sitting at 23.5 at the first half. Technically, it's obvious where everybody lies in terms of the pace of this game, but what's the angle from maybe the sports book or just overall? Because you know the deal between these two teams.
Yeah, this will be interesting because I like the over, and I never really like the over.
Ooh.
So I think the number's perfect. It can be either 23, 23.5, or 24, with the total being 48. So will the first half have more scoring than the second? Probably not. But if we get into the 50s with the total, then the first half's going to go over. Now, everybody loves the tutty score. And, we're trying to have a party. First half touchdown scorer is I don't know if it's an appetizer, a main course. I don't know what this is, but there are a lot of options. And when you look at that. I don't know if they think Miami is going to win the toss or they're getting all the lower odds, but you see Miami, Dolphin. That's kind of strange to me. The value might be on the Bills guys. Just looking at it like that, Adam, I don't know. You into the first half touchdown score, Mr. Volume Guy?
Believe it or not, there are very few markets that I don't bet. That would be one of them. Anytime touchdown score, sure. First touchdown score, occasionally. First half touchdown score, I think we're trying to recreate the wheel a little bit. We're getting a little too specific, even for my taste. But if we do want to narrow it down, right? If we want to look for a first touchdown score, I think there are a lot of logical directions that you could go in, and usually, obviously, it's a running back, or maybe for Buffalo, it's Josh Allen if you're not looking at James Cook. But if you want value, and I have to assume that Tom agrees with me on this, I know that Allen's going to be looking in the direction of someone like Keon Coleman and even Khalil Shakir to a certain degree. I expect them to get a decent number of looks. But when it comes to the red zone and just sort of taking advantage of size, I would be very, very interested. In fact, I've already invested in both Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, the two tight ends on Buffalo. I think you're getting great numbers right there as guys who are just going to be big, lumbering, patrolling back of the end zone targets. If the Bills get to a point where they're, second or third and goal at like the 9, and it's just not an automatic run play, those are the types of guys that I'm thinking about before I'm necessarily thinking about the receivers. But Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I am invested in Dalton Kincaid, not only for this week, but overall in the season, over 750.5 receiving yards for the season. So I'm expecting him to play a bigger role, as I mentioned. And, we're getting, what was that, say 12-1 or 13-1 for first touchdown score. That's certainly a spot to look. And we have a bit of familiarity and that red zone usage dating back to last year. So I'll certainly take a look at Kincaid for first touchdown score. The first half touchdown score, I can't get on board with. Like, if I'm on Waddle for a TD as I am today, I want you could come anytime. I don't care. First half, second half, doesn't matter to me. Now, you are getting better odds if you go specifically first half, but that's just generally not a spot that I'd look. I'll take him for the game overall. Like you said, occasionally bet on first touchdown score, but not first half touchdown score. I can't get on board with that.
Okay, so you
got
the
other thing, guys, if I may, with Dalton Kincaid, just to add, I'm with Tom. I'm not invested in his full season futures in terms of the yardage, but I like the play a lot. I think that Dalton Kincaid, obviously he was a force as a rookie, and I do think, despite what we saw in the opening week of the season, he is going to be a force and a focal point within this offense. Look back to week 1 against Arizona and what he was doing out there. Again, very limited statistically, doesn't jump out at you on the box score in any way, shape, or form. Limited to 2 targets, had the 1 catch against the Cardinals, but he played 84% of the offensive snaps 36 of 39 in the second half of this game. So he's going to be available. He's going to be on the field so long as he's healthy. And Allen is just bound to get him more involved, if nothing else, as a confidence builder. He is going to be looking in his young rookie's direction. And going back to last year, by the way, again, his rookie season, he was targeted 4+ times in 14 of 18 games, again, as his freshman year in the NFL. So last week, honestly, was an outlier, guys.
Well, we'll see what translates from last week or what might actually be the new pattern of a new season. But I do have to ask this, and I'm going to kick it to the Sportsbook King because while you are picturing the big guy getting action in the zone, it's the public, it's fans, it's social media that feel like James Cook is going to be probably one of those lead guys to either find the back of the end zone early, if not first. So hit me with the fact that if everybody's on this, is this something that should stay hot in terms of everybody hopping on it, or maybe it's a little too obvious at this point because you got James Cook currently sitting at plus 165 at any time, plus 950 for the first tutty.
You've seen what happened so far, at least in the primetime games. The one guy that everybody wanted to score did score. I mean, go back to Baltimore, go back to Philadelphia, and go back to San Francisco. I mean, it was all the running backs, right? They all scored. Mm-hmm. They were the choice. And sometimes, again, you know, the book knows this. The number's lower for a reason, but it feels like teams are running the ball more in the red zone, especially inside the 5. So we'll see what Buffalo does. The catch here, Case, is that Allen is as good of a runner or better. So he may actually not hand the ball off and do it himself.
And that's kind of
Are
where
we worried
I'm
about
going
the injury,
with it.
though? The injury to the non-throwing hand, the wrist?
No.
Is that going to limit his running at all?
You would like to think that he plays it safe every now and again, but it's Josh Allen. He's bound to have a Josh Allen moment.
100%. Josh Allen is going to Josh Allen regardless of how his body feels, and if he gets desperate, he's the guy to get the job done. It just feels like it's the script that just can never run out. So Josh Allen currently sitting at minus 105 for that first tutty, or for the anytime tutty, first tutty at plus 650. But of course, we got more props, head-to-heads, and so much more to get into at this pregame party, so don't go anywhere. We got a quick break here on SportsGrid TV.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
before. Welcome back into Pro Football Today, the pregame party more specifically, which means we are bringing you not only the energy, but the lines, odds, best bets, props, all the things you need to get ready for the Bills taking on the Dolphins tonight. Massive AFC showdown. And for this one in particular, we've got to go to some same game parlay. Felt like a little bit of Jeopardy in there, and then between the Peaky Blinders outfit, this feels extremely intense, gentlemen.
Yes.
First and foremost, let's get Tom's same game parlay party on the line here. We know that you're into the analytics. We know that you're into the specifics. We know that you're not going to throw anything out there that's not going to add some pocket to the purse. So go ahead, no pressure.
Yeah, let's get it started. And as usual, liking to keep things simple, liking to keep things correlated for my same game parlay. And let's go to a Jalen Waddle touchdown. It's sitting up at plus 175 normally. High red zone usage dating back to last year, high target share, and he didn't have a touchdown last week, which I love. I love betting on players, especially when they don't have touchdowns the week before. I like to think that quarterbacks like to keep their star wide receivers happy. So I'm expecting Waddle to have a touchdown. I also have him for 60-plus yards. He's going to have high involvement in the game. Again, with that high target share, good yards per route run. We saw some inconsistencies when it comes to the Bills secondary, so I'm certainly looking at for him to take advantage of that. And then, like I said, Keon Coleman, this is a player that I'm expecting big things from this year for 25-plus yards. I like him for a few other props, which we'll get into later. I just think there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of open space, essentially, when it comes to the Bills' passing offense. And he can get down the field, which is something I'll be talking about later. Again, there's that gap in the offense because there's no Gabe Davis and Steph Diggs. So high A-dot average depth of target for Keon Coleman. Getting down the field, a little bit of positive correlation at passing back and forth, up at plus 344. Keep it nice and simple.
Wow, all right. A lot of love for the Waddle. Adam, where are you going with it? Any Waddle sellies for you?
Maybe. I mean, a Waddle Selly could help with what I'm trying to do. We're going for the moon a little bit here. A 6-1, a plus 600 SGP involving both these teams. Let's start with the quarterback. I mentioned Josh Allen just being completely disrespected by the books. To have his passing line as low as the mid-230s when over his last handful of games against the Bills. Listen to these numbers, guys. 359, 320, 304, 352 in a playoff game, 400. I didn't hear anything that was like 199. Josh Allen is going to be throwing the ball all over a Miami defense, a Miami secondary that has some holes that can be exploited. I know there's no Stephon Diggs, there's no Gabe Davis. There is still Josh Allen. Dude's an alien. He is going to be having success throwing the ball all over the football field. I would expect it. Dump offs to guys like James Cook, they count. And the other side, receivers for Miami. Now, these are correlated plays if you're looking at your screen right there. Tyreek Hill, I know, scary going under with Tyreek Hill, always. He had 130 receiving yards last week. That included, though, an 80-yard touchdown catch. Hill, of course, was coming out pissed off after what happened pregame as well. Certainly wanted to make a statement. He did so, but you consider the history with Hill in this matchup, and it's fascinating. It's shocking. You may not want to sit on the edge of your seat. You want to back up to the edge of the couch to really take in these numbers when it comes to Tyreek Hill. Listen to these stats. His last 7 games against the Bills, he is averaging, not isolated opportunity, averaging 62 receiving yards per game. He has only cleared 70 even one single time, okay? He's only cleared 70 one time. His prop, I got it at 100.5 and I went under. Again, you're still getting mid-90s available to you. Also, here's just a fun trend. Anytime that Tyreek Hill has gone for 100-plus receiving yards in week 1, it's happened 4 times. In week 2, every time he has failed to reach 100 yards. So like I said, correlated plays. If Hill is going to be somehow contained in this matchup, expect Jalen Waddle to go crazy. And we're getting his yards in the mid to high 60s right now. It's just too tempting not to jump on, obviously. And Waddle, 2 of his last 3 meetings, 100-plus receiving yards against the Bills. And so it may look crazy at 6-1, and it might be a little sweaty with Cheetah out there running amok, but I like this.
Wow, not so much love for the cheetah, but I do love the trend, whilst I will be going against it once we get into that in a segment or two here on the pregame party. But a lot of love for the Waddle, a lot of love for E.T. Allen, and so much more. Probably on the other side of the break, though. I saw some emotion coming out of Dave's face. I got to get his opinion on these two same-game parlay cards. But if you guys love it, hit us up on social media and let us know what you like. But we still got more party to go. Stick with us here on the other side of this quick break.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back into Pro Football Today, the pregame show, more specifically our pregame party, as you all know that we love to have here. So we got to get back into what's the rundown for tonight. We just had Tom and Adam give us their same game parlay party cards. Liked some things, loved some things, steering some clear myself from some things, but I saw some, I saw some emotion coming out of the Sports Kings facial expression. So let us know, which card would you throw in the purse between these two gentlemen's same game parlay?
Oh, he's got to pick.
Is good. Yeah, hold on. All right, I was taking notes. Vinny, I need you to put them back up one by one. Give me Tom's first, please. All right. The Waddle anytime touchdown is the one I'm worried about because there's a bunch of variants. But if he's going to score, I think we got like it, love it, or leave it. I think this is in that like category, and it almost might be a love because Waddle getting a touchdown, I think, is the one that might be the problem. And again, that's variable. Now we get to Kaufman, and he's got a nice looking card. Okay. But I really like Tyreek Hill to go over. I don't know if that's square, sharp. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me, okay? I'm with you with the Allen over the passing yards prop. That number feels a little bit light. And who doesn't love the Waddle? I'm a big fan of the Waddle. So this might be a like it too. I'm not going to leave it because it has a shot and has a nice price at 6-1. So we're right in that range. Those parlays are tough to hit. Tread cautiously if you're at home and you do it, mix and match different things. But the boys might be onto something tonight, Case.
All right. So you didn't particularly pick one. There's no redheaded stepchild in this situation.
I'll go with Vecchio. I'll go with Vecchio.
There you go.
Oh, God.
Wow. Twist your arm. That's all it took.
No.
I mean,
listen, there's a big difference between a plus 350 and a plus 600. Of course you went Vecchio.
Which means it's more likely to hit.
Yeah, I get the concept. I know how this works.
The Tyreek Hill thing is so questionable, Adam. It's just so questionable. I may have had a weak waddle, but still,
scary.
It is scary, but also you're going against a completely different secondary than the typical reputation for the Buffalo Bills, at least in my opinion. But let's take it head-to-head. Maybe this will bring some clarity to the picture. So we got two quarterbacks who can really sling it and two guys that typically don't fall short underneath that 230 passing yard mark. So, yes, Allen might be coming in a little bit light. Regardless of win or lose, Tua hits 300 passing yards like it's nothing, or at least 283. So while we take this head-to-head, Tom, I'm going to start with you. Which quarterback has the most attractive props or the most attractive appeal to their performance tonight?
It's got to be Josh Allen with that mid 240s. Adam, you said 235, 234 number, whatever it is. Yeah. He's going to be probably flying over that. And when we get him at this number, I think we have to jump on it. At least I have to jump on it. Adam, you already said you did. Because it's probably not going to stay at this spot long. Maybe the books are overreacting again to a completely, I don't want to say completely new offense, but a new passing offense from the Bills. And they're playing it safe. But in reality, we know what Josh Allen can do. And let's say Tyreek Hill goes for 150 yards. Adam loses SGP, not a big deal. But if he goes over that number, that means the Bills are going to be forced into a passing game script. And that means Allen's going to be slinging the ball left and right. And it's not going to be a James Cook game, at least on the ground. So it does set up to be a very, very favorable number. And I have to say, I'm going to get in on Allen. I'm going to get in on Allen, especially if he starts slow on live player props.
I think I think tonight is the night for that. While Tom threw some perfect salt in the wound, Adam, let me know your thoughts. I mean, I think for the most part, you're probably on this Allen business, but maybe even if it's worth gauging the second half, if it is the first half slow start, but most flattering quarterback in this matchup, knowing what both guys are capable of.
Man, that's tough. I mean, I do like them both to have strong games. It's funny, like everything that I throw out would really tend to support the over in this game because there are a bunch of over props that I like. And so it's like, how do we not get to the total, right? And these two teams, looking back, by the way, 3 out of their last 4 meetings, they have cleared 60-plus points. And so it's like, how do they not get there? So that's exactly why, guys, even when I was building out no sweat bets or, lower level parlays that were, builder types at even money or plus 200, parlaying all over the place, I was steering clear of alternate totals or the game total because I just don't know. I really don't know what to expect when it comes to points in this one because a lot of the player lines, the prop lines, are so low across the board, other than Tyreek Hill anyway, that I just like a bunch of them to go over, especially these receivers. The running backs, it's a little unclear. I know there are a lot of people, like Tom brought up James Cook. There are a lot of people that love James Cook's receiving yards in this game, which at one point in time you could have gotten in the mid to high teens. Now it might be closer to 20.5. Personally, I would just go with a combined rushing and receiving number for James Cook because I don't know exactly where it's going to come from. I just suspect and expect he is going to be involved. As far as which QB, I think the better answer to that question, and I wish I had one, but I think the better answer to the question ultimately is which team, if either, do you think is going to be down big? If one of these teams ends up trailing by, let's say, 10 points, that's the team that's going to feel like it needs to throw. And that's going to, obviously heighten those yards for Tua or for Allen. But I'm not going to be sitting here surprised in any way, shape, or form if both those guys hit 300-plus passing yards in this game.
Very true. Very, very, very true. So it sounds like you just want a whole bunch of third down mismanagement, hit some over and some props, and then like the under and the total of the game. And then I think it can pan out. I mean, this game always has some kind of surprise when it comes to the battles and the matchups. Dave, you and I seem like we're on the same.
27-21 game. 27-21.
That's what
lows
you're
of production
asking for
and
out of
stays
this
under.
matchup? Oof.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see. I mean, leave it to Adam to keep it spicy on the pregame party, but I do want to figure out, because it seems like only two of us are on the same page when it comes to Tyreek Hill and the potential for him to hit over. I know that I do have him at 100-plus yards on the night, and that's not because of what happened last week. That's not because of how he's hit under 100 in most of the matchups versus the Bills particularly. It's because I do expect the secondary to not be able to track him as well. And then when you look at the matchups in terms of who's going to be marking Tyreek Hill, it doesn't look all that strong. You're talking about guys that rate barely a C average and being able to keep up with the cheetah, and a guy who now has something further to prove. But Dave, let me know where I'm at with this one when you're looking at the expectation, I would say, for Tyreek Hill. Can he set the expectation? Can he rise to the expectation? Or can Adam be onto something in terms of him potentially hitting over because of this matchup?
It's a little bit of both. All right. So when you look at like strikeout props in baseball, it's about how many innings they're going to pitch. When you look at yardage props in football, you got to look at the receptions and targets. So we don't have a targets number, but you see the receptions number. I mean, Tyreek is 6.5, overs minus 138. That's pretty heavily favored to go over. So they're thinking he's going to get opportunities. With opportunity, he could break that, and catch a 50, 60-yard pass, which would push his number over. So multiple targets, multiple receptions means more yards. That's the danger of going under Tyreek Hill. He could beat you on an 80-yarder and push that number over. All right, so when you look now at Shakir, I mean, this is the most receiving yards for a receiver. This is the highest number for anybody on the Bills. The game's going to play out, at least before the game starts. If you go by the game script, the Bills are going to keep the ball on the ground and just, move the first downs, keep the ball, and keep Miami off the field. So that's why those yardage props for them and the running backs and stuff were what they were. Case, I'm with you. Let's have a party. I mean, it's Monday night. It's in Miami. It's hot. It's like a homecoming for you. You can, we'll talk about the heat and Florida and all that. Forget about winter and get more props for Tyreek Hill over.
There we go. And as you guys all know, or should know by now,
Dave, it's Thursday, Dave. It's Thursday.
But the party never stops.
I thought it was Monday.
The party still never stops, Adam. It's South Beach. Stick with us here on SportsGrid TV. We'll be right back.
To lock in their cards, we are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
You are watching Pro Football Today, the pregame party with myself, Dave, Tom, and Adam, running through the head-to-head slate. And we just talked about the fact that Tyreek Hill deserves a little bit more love. At least me and Dave are on it, but Adam did make a good point as to what's going to go down in the running back room, maybe a running back that a lot of people are gravitating towards. But Adam, give me your thoughts on the running back group for tonight and maybe any other props outside of what we've discussed thus far.
Man, my thoughts on the running back situation is chaos. I don't know exactly what to make of it. I only just sitting in anger, in filth is really what it feels like, because unless Devon Achane, we know Raheem Mostert's not playing, obviously, for Miami. And the question until, I don't know, an hour ago was whether or not Devon Achane was going to play in this game. I felt pretty good for a little while, guys, about having my Jeff Wilson anytime touchdown ticket that I got yesterday at plus money. Thing is, even at plus money, plus 145, whatever it was at the time, now he's right around plus 260 because Achane got ruled in. I thought I was maybe getting value on Wilson at the time. Achane's playing, and all of a sudden, Wilson may barely see the field. Does it mean he can't get in? Of course it doesn't, but the odds, obviously, the closing line value, the CLV, not on my side. So you know what I did? I decided I'm just going to screw around and maybe double down a little bit. I took an anytime touchdown, a very small wager. I took an anytime touchdown on Wright at plus 750. Let's just invest in all the backs. Let's try and hit everywhere. If Achane's going to screw me, then maybe the other guys will get a shot. And if not, look, it's a no whining zone. This is a no whining zone. Yes. I'm gonna try not to complain. I'm gonna try not to complain when Achane gets in 3 times and neither of my other guys do. But in the meantime, let's go Willie. Let's go Wright. Let's have a day.
He's going to try not to complain. Adam's the guy that upgrades so quickly from the single slinger to like a double shot just because something like might be temperaturing like out of nowhere. But as for the no whining, you're off to a spectacular start. Hopefully Wilson Jr. is the gift that secretly gives tonight. But Tom, any love for the running back group, room, or values on props for this matchup?
You know, I would echo a lot of what Adam said. And, you know, when it comes to injuries, especially on a short week on Thursday Night Football, like I have this, I don't want to say it's like a sneaky feeling or a pit in my stomach, but like anytime it's a player that's questionable up until Thursday, I either think he's going to have a huge game or he's going to go out there and he's going to do nothing and he's going to get re-injured. So I actually do think that there's value on Wilson and Jalen Wright for some props, for some touchdowns, for some live touchdown odds, whatever that might be. So Miami, Achane could go off for 100 combined yards and 20 total touches, and I wouldn't be surprised. He could be held to less than 20 yards and see the ball 5 times, and I also wouldn't be shocked. So it's a bit of a mystery right now. I think if he's healthy, he's going to do his thing. On the other side, I think we should continue to roll with Cook. I'm going to be on his over on yards. I know, Adam, you briefly touched on that, but this is the spot for Josh Allen to get some of that comfortability in the offense, especially if we do see those big plays from the Dolphins. They're going to bring the pressure. That means Allen's going to have fewer seconds to throw the ball. He's not going to be able to look downfield, and those quick, low A-dot throws are going to be going to Cook. So pretty simple on the Buffalo side of things, but really, really potentially confusing on the Miami side of things when it comes to the running backs.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Dave, we do have to give some love, maybe even some tutty love to the tight end group. You guys know this is my favorite position, so can we hype them up just a little bit? People want to see Kincaid get more involved. Red zone would particularly be where you see that. Maybe some help out in the middle of the field, but when it comes to this tight end matchup, Dave, can we get some more love for the tight ends in this matchup?
I think so. I mean, obviously, Kincaid's going to be a big part of it, and I think that's the guy that Allen will be looking for. I would shy away from the Dolphins tight ends. I just don't know if that's Tua's, first or even second option when I go in there in the red zone. So I don't know. I wanted to, I know we don't have a graphic for it, but when we just had that show on Friday and Adam had so many different things and veered left and veered right and this and that, we got to mention the kickers. Kickers are people too. And Adam had these kicking props and field goal props. Adam, did you not? I mean, we got to recognize game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tweeted it out so fast.
How fast did he tweet it out? It was like that.
Moody over 1.5 strikeouts. Moody over 1.5. He had strikes right down the middle. 1.5 field goals. Guy had 6. He had 6. Are you kidding me? He was just insulting any of the doubters out there. Moody absolutely crushed. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get it on the other side. I had both kickers over 1.5 field goals. You were. Shame. You get the shame bell, the Game of Thrones shame bell.
I'll open up with the next show on that one, just with the bell going, because I did have to take responsibility. But how does that happen? Like, the one day that I give you crap for something, it just works in your favor. The guys give you something for it the week before, and it's just like it played out poetically. There wasn't much love for the kickers. But you know what? I've only got 2 minutes left with you guys. I think we got to see if anybody is attracted to any game specials. Adam, is there any long shots that you can throw out there today? Something that you might love or gear people towards?
That's a great question. I there's always pressure when it comes to these long shot game specials. I gotta let the other guys go first so I can give you something good.
All right,
Tom, you go. You're not a long shot guy, but maybe you got a long shot touchdown or something. Is it Kincaid on the first TD?
Kincaid on the first TD, I can certainly get behind always. But I want to throw 2 other quick props out there. Tua over 33.5 passing attempts. Kind of buying into a little ambiguity when it comes to the Dolphins running back room and or their health. So I'll certainly take the over on that. It was sitting at plus 100. And then, like I said, I spoke about Keon Coleman before. Keon Coleman over 19.5 for his longest reception. I think he's going to fill that void getting downfield. So pretty specific market for him, but that's a spot that I think I'm buying low on. I think it'll move up to 21, 22 moving forward.
All right, Tom throws 2 more things in the purse. Adam, anything. It doesn't have to be a long shot, but is there anything else that you want fans to get on board with?
It's not a super long shot, but available under game specials on FanDuel. I already mentioned that I wouldn't be at all surprised if both these quarterbacks pass for 300-plus yards each. How about putting those two together? Josh Allen and Tua Tagovailoa to combine for 600-plus passing yards. That is available to you at plus 310.
There you go. Well, what a show-off. You go for the last name. I mean, all the things. He's got the party tricks. He's got the information. He's got the loaded purse. And then you got Tom with the analytics and the breakdown. You got Dave with the scope of everything. Gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with me, partying with me. We might not be in South Florida, but it's just as fun here at SportsGrid TV. Be sure to follow these 3 and stick with us on SportsGrid TV because the party continues on the other side of this break.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Back at it with Pro Football Today pregame party with myself, Kasey Hudson, Dave Sharapan, Tom Vecchio, and Adam Kaufman. The party continues for one more round with me and these three, but we've got to get some final thoughts because the spread has moved about. We've seen some changes getting closer to game time. Tom, I've got to start with you on your final thoughts for this matchup. Throw it all out there.
Final thoughts, Bills plus 2.5. I'll certainly take that. To wrap up what Adam said really quickly from the last segment, for both quarterbacks combined for 600 plus passing yards was about plus 300. If you do Allen for plus 300, Tua for plus 300, in a same game parlay, you're getting that about 7.5 to 1. So, it's a little bit of angling for the poker term. You're looking for an exact outcome, but I will certainly roll with that at 7 to 1. Let's add it to the card. Let's have some fun on Thursday.
There you go.
Give
Thirsty
it to the
Thursday.
people. Yes.
That's Adam. What are you adding to the thirst for tonight? Final thoughts.
Shoot, I don't look. I'll finish where I started, I guess. Looking at a 2.5 point spread, I don't know where to go for all the bets that I love in this game and all the props that I've given you, long shots, whatever else. I don't know how to bet the spread. Now, for the sake of pick'ems, because you have to obviously have a bet, I will be on the Dolphins side and them covering at home because I feel like it's the right side. But there's no question that history would tell you that Buffalo is the side you want to be on. So truly, I don't know.
I don't know if you know what you did there because you mentioned the home team love for a second, which Donnie talked about in Game Time Decisions, and then you said you don't know the right side there. So I think you're leaning with everything Donnie said in Game Time Decisions. There you go. Dave, you mentioned you have a surprise for us. I'm here for this.
Yeah.
We're not only partying on a Thursday. We're not getting down in South Beach, but
I've been sitting in this Buffalo stuff all night long. All night long, I've been sitting in the Buffalo. Because it's
there
the book.
Is that a Ray
side.
Finkel jersey?
It's what the book side. Blah 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 blah. All right, Miami.
Oh, another hat.
For the people.
Oh.
Miami Dolphins for the people. Buffalo. If you want to go with the book side, go with the book side. All right.
Wow.
This is a vintage Dan Marino throwback. Yes, Kaufman.
Oh,
it is number 14.
I thought.
All right.
No, I thought it was a Ray Finkel jersey.
Not Ray
Oh my
Finkel.
gosh.
No, definitely not Ray Finkel. Who is Ray Finkel? Why would you even say
Finkel.
that? But please.
Finkel,
yes.
Einhorn, Finkel, Einhorn.
Oh,
Yeah,
all of
it's a
my
great reference.
Please, would you?
Fantastic.
Great reference.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go
Kasey,
upstairs. I'll
yes.
get my Ray Finkel jersey. We'll match.
I gotta go with the
that would be a
Dolphins on
sight.
this one. Small story about Case that nobody asked about is not only am I a Miami-born gal, but my mother did work for the Miami Dolphins way back in the day. So I don't bet against the Dolphins. I don't go against the Dolphins. I don't care what their roster looks like. I gotta stick with the home state and the original hometown team. So I gotta lean with the Dolphins on this one. But because I think we have the time, you guys built a parlay. It sounded good. Dave let you know which way he was leaning. Tom won that one out. But if you to pick one bet tonight that you feel so sure about, like bet your house on it. Nobody bet your houses. Throw it in the pot. Tom, give me your favorite absolute hands down bet for the night.
Coleman 19.5 over longest reception. It's a breakout party for the rookie. He's gonna expand his role massively.
All right, Adam, add to the juice.
I would definitely bet Dave's house on the over Josh Allen passing yards.
That's so disrespectful.
my
Why
house
Dave's
for?
house?
What is that?
I'm that confident. What can I tell you?
He's confident that he'll still have a roof over his head, yet your house, your closet, everything will be in question. What he's actually hoping for is that your closet disappears because every time you whip out a new jersey, jacket, and hat, Adam is the one with the biggest reaction. But Dave, tell me if I'm onto something here. I'm taking Josh Allen first half touchdown.
Oh, I like that. Look, I like both teams to score in the first half. I like the game to be not what is called a track meet, but I think literally the first team to 30 wins tonight. I think we get and then another primetime entertaining game. It's definitely not Monday, and it's way better than Monday because it's Thursday. Thank you, Adam, for that reminder. You start betting my house, I'm coming to Boston looking for you. But this was a great job tonight.
I got a room for you.
Party. Good job, Kate. What?
We're going to keep everybody's houses,
I got a room for
hopefully.
plenty of space for you. You come visit anytime.
Why would you choose Boston over Jersey? And I'm still getting warmed up to Jersey, and I'm still trying to welcome you to Jersey.
That's a real question.
I'm going to Jersey.
That can't be a real question.
It's not even a question.
Jersey?
I guess not. The real answer is Florida. Take it all back down south. Gentlemen, for real this time, thank you so much for joining me. Everyone, do yourselves a favor. Go follow them. Track them throughout the game because we'll be throwing everything on social media. But we still got one more round, so stick with us here on SportsGrid TV.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
All right, football fans, I promised you that the party was not over. We have a special guest. It's going to be Kasey and Lisi, and we got to run through Lisi's list of best bets for tonight. You are watching Pro Football Today pregame show or pregame party. Lisi, what's going on?
Oh, great game. I mean, this is unbelievable. After that snooze fest on Monday night between the Niners and Jets, we get a little juice. Josh Allen, a little Tua, Tyreek, Waddle. We'll see how this plays out.
I know, finally, because it was a snooze fest on Monday, and then everything that I thought was going to be something spectacular absolutely failed. I mean, where I thought I was mega mining something, it was not in the cards. So if you had to throw out one of your favorite bets, top bet of the night as we run through your slate, where are you gearing towards in this matchup?
I'm going to the rushing attack of Buffalo. I love James Cook tonight. Altered him up to 80-plus, Kasey, a positive money. But he's plus 165 to hit pay dirt. So he had 70 yards rushing on Sunday. He was over his 61.5. I think he hits the ground running tonight, especially when you look at the rushing attack of Jacksonville last week. Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, that offensive attack rushed for over 100 yards, 4 yards per carry against the Dolphins' defensive front. On the road, let's hit pay dirt with James Cook tonight.
A lot of people on the Cook move, but Dave Sharapan mentioned earlier, it's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it. But then let me ask you this. For one of the first tutties between these teams, are we seeing a rushing touchdown? Because a lot of people are anticipating a slower start, which has been kind of the script for most of these games as of late.
It's possible, but you could also go through the air. Josh Allen eats up on Miami, did it in Week 17 last year. I'm looking in regards to the passing attack. Maybe Keon Coleman gets to 50, but I'm also looking under the radar pick in regards to Dawson Knox. 12.5 is his total. Last year in regards to week number 17, he was right in the area of about 15.5. He blew through that number in Week 17. That's the security blanket with Dalton Kincaid. Keep an eye out for Dawson Knox. He's plus 550 tonight, also to score a touchdown.
I was hoping that somebody was going to give Knox some love, especially when everyone's talking about not making it too obvious, not going for the direct pick. And this is one of those matchups between the Bills and the Dolphins where there's always an element of surprise. We just don't always know what that surprise is going to be. The Dolphins winning outright perfectly would be great with me, honestly. What else do you got on the card tonight? We see a lot of love for Cook. We see Knox in the mix. And then are you leaning Bills? Are we on opposites again?
Look at the outfit. Look at the outfit. I'm rocking the Bills colors tonight. Josh Allen eats up on Miami. The one thing I'm concerned about heading into this matchup is the front seven of the Dolphins. They couldn't shut down the rush. Even though they have Tyreek and Jalen Waddle in the passing attack, I am concerned in regards to the defense. And last year as well, Buffalo wore them down in both games that they played in Buffalo and then at the end of the regular season. I just think Buffalo's more physical in the interior, and that's where this game's going to be won or lost. We saw San Francisco run the football on Monday night. I think it's a continuation of that with the Bills and James Cook.
All right. Does weather ever deter you when it comes to the South Florida showdown? Because you've got a high dew point sitting at 77. You got massive humidity. You've got some, not rain, but you've got a lot of water in the air because of the hurricane out in Louisiana. Anything to tap against the Bills?
I think if it is a little bit wet, drizzle, or let's just say it rains later in the matchup, I think that does favor the Buffalo Bills. Maybe it does go a little bit low scoring under the 48.5, but you still got to believe in Josh Allen, a mobile quarterback, and then the rushing attack of James Cook and sweet baby Ray Davis from Kentucky that could pound that rock on that front seven.
Okay, I was hoping for more of a siren song between Tua and his company, but we'll see what goes down here shortly. But, I got to get your opinion.
Sure.
Even though we're always on opposite sides somehow. You did show up in Bills colors so disrespectfully. But I mentioned with the guys just a moment ago that I am taking Josh Allen for that first half touchdown. That came in at plus 240. Now, I specified to the first half because a lot of people don't find much value in Josh Allen's touchdowns, but you're looking at a guy who, when his team's not making way, he makes way with his legs. So I figured between desperation, a close matchup, a low-scoring game, at least in that first quarter, Josh Allen getting in there.
No, that's a great look. I also like him over 40. If they're going to utilize the rushing attack, to your point, Josh Allen needs to be mobile, rush for well over 30 yards last week. And again, that's the way they win games. So when Josh Allen's on, especially making plays with his legs, it's a great look.
Yeah, and plus, who doesn't love seeing Josh Allen switch into tight end mode and switch into running back mode? He's just got every single mode. Yeah, he's a game console right there on the field. And as you mentioned, I got the rushing yards. Now, Tua, over or more than 275 passing yards, found this at plus 104. Now, Tua racks up regardless, and even in the 48-20 loss back in October, you're talking about a guy who hit 280 passing yards. I mean, can we still see the ball air out tonight?
Absolutely. Great look. I think in order for Miami to pull out this victory, Tua has to get over the 275, 280, potentially 300. You have to utilize the weapons, put the pressure on Josh Allen to match you score for score. They have the Ferrari. Can Tyreek and Jalen jump up early? That's the question.
I like the match pace. So you think out there a little switch goes off for Allen, and he's like, oh, no, this dude's not going to out-air me tonight, because his numbers are coming in kind of low. 235 is what Adam, Dave, Tom, and myself saw earlier. Is that way too low for Josh Allen?
It's really not in regards to the matchup with the Dolphins. He owns them. So it depends on game flow. How is this game going to play out? If you believe that Miami will dictate the tempo with Tua and Tyreek, then you obviously go to Josh Allen in terms of the 235 plus, right? If you believe Buffalo is going to dictate the tempo, you utilize the heavy offensive line and James Cook to the rushing attack under, and then probably right in the area of maybe 220, 230. So it's priced accordingly.
Okay, you mentioned a Ferrari. We've got some people who actually think Tyreek Hill's coming in under 95 yards, but then you've got me who I think it's got to be 100 plus. He may have not always had the sexiest slate versus this team particularly, but he has been banged up in a lot of matchups. He hasn't been entirely healthy. Now he's coming off a 100 plus yard performance. A lot of people say trends say that he falls down after that. How risky is this move?
Well, I think I like the look. Again, if Miami's going to win and be in this thing, Tyreek has to step up. Didn't step up in Week 17, so they need to start fast. He got going in the second half with the big touchdown reception against Jacksonville that catapulted that victory. I think him and Waddle. Waddle 80-plus is plus money, too. I think it's in the area of about 178. His number tonight is 63.5. Keep an eye out for him.
And we saw a number of top 2 wide receivers rack up, 80-plus receiving yards or even break that 100-plus receiving yards, which obviously takes me to my last bet of the night. Tyreek Hill first half score, once again, coming in at plus money. How can you not?
Yeah, 2-1. I love the look. I might put that in a parlay just as security. You never know.
See, there we go. We can agree on something, but I'm going to throw a wrench in all of this.
Go ahead.
What bet would Kevin hate you to pick tonight?
Probably, I don't know about
Let's prepare
hate.
fans.
Dawson Knox 25-plus, 2-1, plus 210. We might be brothers in arms. I don't know.
You think you guys are going to agree on something tonight?
Yeah, we typically do at some point. There is some synergy between us, but if you talk Jaden Daniels, absolutely not. We can get into that discussion.
That'll be a whole different situation.
That's a Sunday discussion.
Wow, I thought he was going to throw something else out there, but at least you guys are probably going to have a more calm. But either way, you're going to want to watch all three of them run through the game coming up here shortly. Game specials.
Mm-hmm.
This will be the last thing that I close out with, because we did talk about the fact that Josh Allen can air it out, but it might not get too crazy. He might have to use his legs and control the pace of the game. We also saw a lot of top teams start to resort to managing the clock. The Bills would probably be better at that than the Dolphins. So as a game special comes down,
right?
Josh Allen, Tua, both to put up 300 passing yards.
Oof. I mean, I would take it just off principle, just in case the game gets out of hand. I would do it, but that's a security blanket. I think the game potentially is under the 48.5 because of Buffalo's ability to run the football. But again, if the game does start fast, they could both get through that tonight.
All right, under or over the 48.5?
I would say under right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you went very fast with that. And then as for your love for the spread, you've got...
I like Buffalo a lot. I'm taking them on the money line. I'm taking them with the 2.5, and I'm taking those running backs.
I didn't change your mind at all.
No. Man, in game, it's possible. I've lost games. It's not my first. Certainly won't be my last. So
we got to get Kevin in on this. We got to see if Kevin can sway him. So as you guys see, most people on the spread not hating it entirely. We got a number of people that think the Bills are going to continue to roll and have the dominant upper hand in this matchup. We've got a party going down in South Florida, but the party continues here on SportsGrid TV because Joe and Donnie and Kevin, they got to get you hyped. They got to keep the energy up as the show goes down in South Florida. Joe, I think our time is just about up here, which means you guys have one job left. That's watching in-game live pro football game day. You got Joe Lisi, you got Kevin, you've got Donnie. That's a wrap for me and my best bets for the night. So wish me luck, everyone. It's time for in-game live pro football game day.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared